All right, so we can move forward to Oklahoma City because Kevin Durant actually has a lot of incentive to stay in Oklahoma City, right? We've done a lot of clips in general about the NBA this season. Of course, the biggest offseason storyline, which hasn't even happened yet, is that Kevin Durant is an unrestricted free agent. But what that means when it comes to his contract details are a little bit, I want to say interesting to say the least, because we're going to go through 3 graphics for you, and here's the incentive to stay on the Thunder. Before we even get into the Thunder and Spurs series, the fact that they can close out the series, and the fact that at the worst they're taking the Spurs, if they lose the series, to 7 games. The Spurs, who according to 538 are in the top 10 greatest regular season teams of all time. Where if you put this Oklahoma City team on 538, I don't think they crack the top 200 greatest regular season teams of all time. Because outside of Durant and Westbrook, and a very decently playing Steven Adams right now, the team is just not that great. I know it sounds crazy, blah, 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 but it's true on paper compared to the actual game itself. All right, so to Durant's contract with the Thunder, this is what the Thunder can offer Kevin Durant as an unrestricted free agent this year, this summer. It comes out to roughly $28-ish million per year, $27.5 million per year, a total of $143. That's the number you got to see. First, let's look at what Durant would make if he signs a 5-year max salary contract with the Thunder based on the maximum salary projections, right? What if he goes elsewhere, right? He'd see slightly less if he signed a max deal for as many years as he could with another team. Only the Thunder can give him a 5th year, and everyone else is limited to offering 4.5% raises instead of 7.5%. Again, the figures here rely on the league's projection for next year's maximum salaries. Hoops Rumors is never that far off, though, so you can pretty much take it within whatever, $500,000 of that total number. $106 million over 4 years, right? So it's less money if he signs elsewhere. But if Kevin Durant signs a 1-year deal with the Thunder, similar to what LeBron James has been doing with the Cleveland Cavaliers, look at the number he could sign in the 2016-2017 offseason as an unrestricted free agent elsewhere. $229 million. Now, everyone has their price. When you realize that Kevin Durant can make $100 million more average, roughly, by just waiting another year in Oklahoma City. Again, a team with a new coach in Billy Donovan, or recently taken over by Billy Donovan, a team that is now going to, at worst, 7 games with the Spurs, at best, a 6-game win to take on the Golden State Warriors, most likely, in the Western Conference Finals. A team that, outside of Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, isn't all too exciting, but given an off-season, they could get better. Where else would he go? If they beat this Spurs team, where else would he go that's better besides Golden State?
Yeah, I think we were all quick to judge a Kevin Durant exodus at OKC. I put my hands up as well, as I was drawn into the idea of a Kevin Durant returning the Celtics to greatness. Yeah, Kevin Durant strengthening the Clippers and potentially helping, and Chris Paul winning a championship.
New York Knicks.
And a Kevin Durant never going to the New York Knicks was also a good, interesting factor. But you're so right in this argument, Jason, and we've pitched this story, if you've seen behind the scenes, and you've always vouched for the idea that, what if he just stayed? What if he just didn't go? Because in that question now echoed throughout the bar I was in last night, I think it was like 7 or 8, soon just became OKC fans from watching that game. They weren't cheering. They might have been, but they started to show signs of promise once they realized how dominant Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant can be over a team collectively that are so far better than OKC. You can tell me that you can bring in an Enes Kanter, or you can bring in a Serge Ibaka and a Waiters and whatever, and they make up a well-rounded team. But no way do they compare to LaMarcus Aldridge, Kawhi Leonard, Tony Parker, Tim Duncan.
Of course.
Full, strong. And by the way, there's no excuse for the Spurs at the moment. They are fully fit. They are strong. Danny Green is somewhat lighting the each arena on fire after going through a rough patch at the start of the season. So there's no excuse that why OKC should be not just keeping up with them, but now surpassing them. There's only one answer, and that is the dynamic combination of Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant. And when they get that recipe right, why would he go anywhere else? Because they have every chance of beating Golden State. Not saying that they will. I still believe Golden State on their day are better. But who would argue against that they have a chance at least?
If he beats the Spurs, does that not make Oklahoma City, that's the point I was trying to make before, the Atletico Madrid of the Champions League? We said Atletico Madrid, they're not going to beat, you said they're going to beat Barcelona. Most people said, well, that's going to be a tough task. How are they going to beat the best team in the world right now? And then they went through the other best team in the world, pretty much, in Bayern Munich. Oklahoma City beats the Spurs. They just beat one of the best teams in the world. They're going to go face the Golden State Warriors. It's the playoffs. Nobody thought they were going to beat the Spurs.
But it's very similar to...
I have the Warriors winning, by the way, but still.
But it's very similar to the Simeone effect. And we love to do our crossovers here, so get used to it.
That's why I'm making the comparison.
But Simeone's got to go somewhere because, I mean, Atletico, their name is not as big as Barcelona or Bayern Munich, so he's got to go to another team, right? Because that's just what you... No. If you make something great, you don't need to go anywhere else. They become great. They become your best option. I still think that there is many teams out there that adding a Kevin Durant is going to make them a championship, or at least in whatever side they're in, West or East, a challenging team. He goes to the Chicago Bulls, you get a fully fit, Derrick Rose, you get a fully fit Jimmy Butler, you get Pau Gasol in there. That's a potentially fantastic team if they all stay fit. But the same thing is you got to think about Kevin Durant and his own mentality at the moment. What age is Kevin Durant at the moment? 28-ish. 28. How many more years has he got in his peak? So ultimately, we can weigh up all these different options, but it's going to come down to the man himself because that guy deserves to win an NBA championship.
27.
He deserves.
He's going to be 28 this summer.
He's going to be 28. And he deserves to win an NBA championship. And his MVP season, I hadn't seen... It was one of the main reasons and one of the biggest advocates for why I was drawn into basketball. Phenomenally gifted, lanky, didn't look anywhere... He looked half the size of LeBron James, but was still just a phenomenal gift to the game. And ultimately, it's going to be his decision in which he believes, because at this point, you can talk about loyalty to OKC and how they adore him, but I still think, Jason, we know that it's going to come down to his growth. It's going to come down to money as well. But I think Kevin Durant, if this was a story with Russell Westbrook, no offense to Russ, no offense to... I said Russ as if I'm best picks.
Well, like you take a page out of my book. You know, me and Mike, me and Scott, we go back.
There's certain basketball players out there that you think money is going to play a huge role in it, and it plays a huge role in everyone. But I would like to believe that Kevin Durant's main decision will come down to which team he thinks he can get that accolade, which team gives him that ring.